So, I mean, it's the most incredibly beautiful. I can't believe I get to do it for my job. It's the most beautiful thing that I've ever. It's incredible. It's like, it's such an honor to be there with people. It's so moving. It's going to make me cry when I talk about it. It's so moving. It's like, it's amazing because people come in and they're really suffering and they're stuck and they've been stuck for years. And they come in and it requires such a lot of them to take this step because it's scary, and they take these capsules and there's two of us, there's always two of us. We started off just having one because for cost saving purposes, thinking about when it rolls out, it would be better to have one. But we realised that it's much better with two. And although it might be a bit luxurious and it might not make the cut when this becomes a therapy, I hope it does, because there's something about having three of you that feels very different to just being two.
Okay, so two of these guides.
Two guides.
One on either side of you.
One on either side, often a man and a woman.
Okay.
And
is there a thought process behind that?
Yeah, because like people so often go back to infancy, and it's like your mum and dad. You know, there's something. Who doesn't have a deep craving for like a really corrective experience of like the feminine and the masculine loving them and telling them they're okay? Like, you know, we're holding their hands, so they're lying on the bed. They take the capsules. They're in an extremely vulnerable position, and they've got like a man and a woman that represent that, holding their hands, and I think it can be quite reparative for people.
Wow, it's amazing. And they're lying in a bed in a room that's kind of pleasant to be in.
Yeah.
That's just kind of a calming space.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, with lots of nice lamps and very low lighting. And we have a playlist, which is a key. I mean, the playlist is absolutely key.
And why is that? Why is music important? Because we see that in traditional ceremonies. Obviously, there's a shaman in the ayahuasca experience that sings the Icaros.
Yeah.
And so, what's that all about? Or do we know?
Well, when there's no music playing, it can feel like free fall. Like, I don't know if you've had that experience, that there's something incredibly soothing when the music comes in. It's like a handrail, it guides you,
Yeah.
It takes you places. So the music is like the landscape of the whole experience. It can change what you see and feel, but it doesn't, it provides the landscape, but it's still your story that plays out, but it provides some of the scenery almost.
Okay.
And it can really just, that soothing, beautiful music, it can just really, it carries people along.
What kind of tracks are you playing?
So I was helped making the playlist by a musician called John Hopkins, who's made an album of music for psychedelic experiences,
okay,
based around his own psychedelic experiences. So he helped a lot with making the playlist. But I'd say overall, there's a lot of just incredibly beautiful, spacious, reassuring music.
It's definitely not the time for hardcore hip hop. I made that mistake before.
Oh, really?
I just think I remember I had a psilocybin experience and I was trying to play the calm music, and I went on shuffle, and it wasn't good. I had to get back off that quickly. But I know what you mean. If there's no music, it can really feel like you lose your sense of time anyways, but you can a lot more if you don't have kind of a beat or a frequency.
Yeah, some kind of structure. It can feel very supportive. And also it just feels beautiful. I mean, another part, I'm talking all about the pain of it, but most of the time the experiences are just absolutely beautiful for people. And these are people that haven't had any pleasure in their lives for years and years, and they're suddenly in the grip of beauty and joy and awe and bliss. And the music is part of that, because the music just sounds so wonderful, and they just feel like it's washing over them.
Yeah, sometimes I forget to talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember these incredible moments where I'm just like, wow, like wonder and just amazement and just deep respect for this incredible world we're in. But then I always talk about then a few minutes later we go deep and dark. But there are almost always those experiences for me with psilocybin as well as ayahuasca. So yeah, that's true. All right, so they're sitting hand in each, they pop the capsules. How long is this experience?
So we're there the whole day, and it's usually about 6 hours if it's a high dose. But it usually takes about kind of like half an hour, 45 minutes or something like that before people will start to feel something. And then it's so different every time for people, but usually we don't do so much because it's an inner experience, and for them to communicate with us what's going on would break the experience. So we encourage people just to stay with it, and if they need us, we're there. But most of the time it's something that they do on their own, and we stay present, we stay focused on what they're doing, and we observe little changes in the body. Sometimes people will be going through the most incredible battles within, and they're lying there completely still and you'd never know. sometimes people are weeping and you think that maybe they're suffering and they're just feeling complete pleasure and joy. And yes, it's difficult to know. It's difficult to know what they're, but you do develop, there's this lovely feeling in the room where you all kind of tune into some kind of deep frequency together, that you feel quite empathically linked to them. And at the end of the day, when I come out of one of those days, I feel really, it's kind of deep meditative space you get into. And you're listening to the music as well, because they listen to it on their headphones and also on a speaker, so that we are listening to the same playlist.
Okay, wow.
So we're with them.
Wow.
We're with them.